It is. Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio, number 349. My name is Mel Popeye Moss. My co host, Mel O.G. Robbins. We are with Sons of Liberty Riders MC, who are sponsors of this show each and every week. And good evening, Mel. How are you doing?
Doing good, and I want to greet our two thumb brothers out there, and I hope you're listening today.
There you go. There you go.
That's all I'll say about it.
That's okay. Okay, Mel, let's start out first talking about Jarhead's MC out of New Hampshire, where we had that tragedy happen. I guess Friday it was, and where 7 bikers were killed, 5 patch holders, and 2 associates, I do believe. And first of all, we want to say, give our condolences to the Jarhead's MC and also the families that lost loved ones during this tragedy. And Mel, it was brought up in my house today, being my wife. I didn't really tell her about this, and but it was brought up today when she discovered it, and she go, well, that can happen to you. And I told her, I said, well, Jill, that can happen to us, even in a car, where somebody comes
Absolutely.
into your lane, and you just don't have time to react. And so that's kind of the way I handle that. Have you had a similar thing happen?
Aside from doing anything incredibly stupid on anybody's part, we all have that appointed time set in destiny, and it's out there waiting for us.
Right.
I don't give a crap what you're doing, whether you're in a plane, a car, on a bike, or vacuuming the living room rug. When it's your time, it's going to happen.
That's true.
So, you can spend your life trying to be careful, but, when it's your time, something's going to fall out of the sky and hit you on the head if that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
Other than that, unless you want to do something incredibly stupid, I'd say go about your life, do those things that pleasure you, because we got one life to live, and by God, we need to live it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I guess everybody handles this in their own way, and especially with their spouses, who, and family members that see motorcycles as dangerous. And it's like I said, it doesn't matter when you're on a 2-lane road, and I don't know that that was. When the car comes across the line and there's no barrier to catch them, it can be in any type vehicle, and we see enough of that around here in the Metroplex, where people are drinking or whatever else, and they go down and run the wrong side of the highway and plow into somebody heads on. It's unbelievable.
It's been kind of interesting to follow. There's still speculation and unspoken things happening relative to the young man that was driving that truck. I mean, that truck played almost cracked the whip. You got a 3/4 ton pickup pulling a big car carrier, and I've been reading that that trailer he was pulling should have had a 1-ton pickup on the front. And based on some information I just stumbled across a couple hours ago, this young man, I believe, is the holder of a CDL.
Oh, really?
And that's because information came about and it was reported by Fox News. I posted those links on Sons of Liberty Riders NC public page and on Texas Biker Radio, where this newscaster is talking about news she recently got out of Texas, where this young man was involved most recently in rolling a semi.
Oh God!
That had a car carrier, and claiming that somebody cut him off, and he was involved in another incident in Texas not too long ago. So he's got quite the history of vehicular incidents and drinking, is if he's holding a CDL, you got to wonder what the hell is going on, because I know I drove truck for a while, and we've got lots of guys in our club that have driven. That you worry about keeping your CDL because you can be drug tested at any time.
Right. If
you get into an accident, they immediately are supposed to drug test you, and I guess if they're suspicious. I don't know if it's an automatic mandatory, but I would presume when they took him into custody back there in New Hampshire, they had to have drawn blood. Now, if they found something, they've yet to talk about it,
right.
And I guess we're probably going to have to wait for trial.
Yeah.
But he either had too many hours on the road, or the guy's a raving lunatic, or he was DUI.
Yeah.
And under the influence of, you can guess whatever, because from what my understanding is, he's had involvement with drugs also.
Yeah.
So everybody's guess is as good as anyone else's at this point. All we know is they did arrest him for homicide, and I guess we got to let it roll from there.
Yeah, it's Mel, just a little tidbit. I had a CDL also, and if you get a ticket and you have a CDL, you're not getting out of it. You're not hiring a lawyer and getting out of it. It's going on your record, period. No matter what you do.
Oh, yeah. No, I know, because they got that point system for the CDLs now, and after I knew I wasn't going to drive anymore, as coveted as that CDL is, because they're hard to get, I figured I'm just going to cross over to a regular driver's license.
I did exactly the same thing.
You don't have to worry about getting the physical anymore and getting that on file with the state, and you don't have to worry about the point system.
That's right. It's the exact reasons I gave mine up, and I can now keep my record clean, because as you know, I've got a heavy throttle hand.
Don't we all?
Yeah. So, that being said, Mel, let's talk some local stuff, Mel. In our investigations of what of these arrests that have been going on, where they're pulling bikers over for nefarious reasons and taking them to jail. And like in one case, we have the Milam County case where they are fighting criminal carry. So, as we look around here, and we also, Mel, we talked about the guilty by association. You and I talked on the phone about this. And one of the things I found interesting about it, there is no guilty by association law, period. There is not. So, Mel, that means an attorney, a prosecutor, has to hoodwink a jury into convicting you because of your association. Not the fact that it's a law, but the fact that he's got to convince them that you're guilty by association, and so therefore you get charged with a crime or whatever. I mean, I just find that interesting as hell that they're sending people to prison off of this.
Guilty by association, in my mind, it stands directly opposed to everything this country was ever founded on.
Exactly.
I mean, you get some other lunatic, and I use the term other lunatic in public office because Lord knows we got plenty of them today.
Mm-hmm.
That gets it in their head that just because you're the member of a certain church, you're guilty by association.
Yes.
You're being convicted of a crime that doesn't frickin' exist. It exists only in the mind of a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding the other little piece that you and I talked about, that if you've got a CHL and the police officer deems or feels that you are guilty by association,
mm-hmm.
he can jerk your CHL. Now, where the hell does that power come from?
Exactly.
Or revoke it,
Exactly, Mel.
That is way, way too much police power. You want to talk about a police state?
Yes.
There you have it.
Yes.
I can see where, he issues a citation, and if the judge in a court of law, after you've been tried and you've had the opportunity to defend yourself, deems it necessary to pull your CHL, then, that's following a course that's more palatable.
Yes.
Maybe not just, but at least it's palatable. It followed some system of justice that this, based on what this country was founded on.
Mel, in that case, at least you're getting your day in court, your day to try and defend yourself, rather than just because a police officer has pulled you over and decided that you need your CDL revoked for whatever reason. Because they've certainly taken pistols away from people and revoked CDLs before all this mess with the profiling started. I remember back a few years ago that was going on here, not long after Twin Peaks. They were taking weapons away from anybody and everybody. Not just Banditos, not just Vagos MC, not just Hells Angels, not just 1%. Every freaking body was in danger of having their weapon confiscated and their CDL revoked on the spot.
There's plenty of factions out there that would like to try and do that one. You bet.
But you should have your day in court. You should be allowed to defend yourself. And we've already discussed the fact that if you have your license to carry, that means you have been vetted by the state. And according to all I hear, you've been vetted by the FBI too. Surely they asked them. You think?
Can only hope.
Yeah. I mean, the system has a whole bunch of cracks in it and a whole bunch of foolishness. That's what it has. And on top of the outlaw gang database that we think is full of holes and full of misinformation. And you're not really able to fully check it to see what database you're in, because there's multiple databases. So this is where we're at now. This is the stuff we're battling. So what we have to do is we have to let the public know what's going on. Just like we did in Waco. We've got to let the public know what's going on. And if we have to, we go to county to county to county. Wherever this crap pops up, we're gonna show up. And so that, I mean, any further comment on it? Mel, I said a lot there.
Yeah, no, I've said my piece. I just think it's despicable that things like that are in place that allow a law enforcement individual out on the street to have that kind of power.
He becomes judge and jury right there.
Yeah, I mean, I had always, it had always been presented to me that a police officer is there to enforce existing law on the books. If you're in violation of a law, they're there to enforce the law. Now, when you start getting into these shady gray areas, allowing them to be judge and jury on the spot, that's getting damn dangerous.
Mel,
it's getting damn dangerous just to have a cop stop you anymore.
Mel, it's in my damn view that the gang assessment report, the yearly gang assessment report that includes motorcycles, that thing is just what it says. It's a report. It's not freaking law. Yeah. It's their opinion.
That's right. And they can't even, like we've talked before, these reports are cut and paste from year to year.
Oh, yes.
You don't know how current the data is, what empirical source, if any, that they pulled this information from, other than some of these slap-happy confidential informants out there and diehard agents that quit because they figured they'd write a book to make some money, all that kind of crap. And that's where it kind of comes from, and it's a leapfrog thing. Bits and pieces of it come from the FBI, from ATF, from whoever the hell.
And Mel, they plagiarize each other. I don't know who's.
They do.
I don't know who's doing the plagiarizing. I would assume it's the DPS.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It picks up mass, and a lot of that mass could just be a lot of air.
Oh yeah.
But they base people's futures and their ability to have a CHL based on bullshit data.
Yes. Yes. Just
a lot of these people that are in the hallowed criminal gang database in Texas have never even been convicted of a crime.
Exactly.
They've been put in that database because some slap-happy cop out there decided that this individual, because they're wearing a certain cut or a certain support patch, or they were seen at some event, I'm going to put their name in the criminal gang database because I think they're a known they're an associate. They're a known associate.
There you go. There we go back to guilty by association. That is not a law.
Yeah. The whole damn thing is so ludicrous when you start to look into it and start to disassemble it. When you figure out how they got it to begin with, who inputs the information, they can't even track all the databases that are out there.
Oh no.
And there are plenty of different databases.
Yeah.
So, it just depends on where you are and who's running your name as to whether or not it's going to come back. Now, you and I have checked ourselves through the state, and they're saying, well, our names aren't on any criminal game.
Oh, I did get a letter back, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Same answer.
In the mail or email?
In the mail.
Really? I've
Yeah.
never gotten one. I've had a letter attached on email.
I got one. I'll show it to you if I can remember to bring it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would put that in my saddlebags. I would put that one in my saddlebags.
Especially since Geezer and I are going to Parker County to confront Popeye.
Yeah.
We're going to go out there and ask them what the hell's going on.
Right.
So
it's just nuts, and something needs to be done about this. I mean, we've got to go to our legislators, and we've got to say this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This is all part of profiling.
We've got to educate people on the ins and outs and what the heck's going on, and most importantly, Mel, what can happen to you.
And obviously, more bikers need to be elected.
Yes. If you're a biker and you want to run for office, let us know. We would be glad to help you. We would be glad to get behind you. So let us know about it. And we're veterans of those kind of campaigns. And so, we don't mind helping out. Don't mind helping out at all. Now, Mel, what we got going on down in Waco right now is seems as though some of the bikers are having a hard time getting their stuff back. I mean, we're talking about something. Wedding rings, Mel.
No, it's mysteriously disappeared because somebody mysteriously sold it all back.
We're gonna try and find out.
There's good money in scrap precious metal.
Well,
that.
the old sheriff better not have his hand in the till down there. He better not, and us find out about it. We don't mind going back out in front of that courthouse. We don't mind it at all. Just like pretty soon we're in the planning stages of going to Milam County.
I think they're playing a shell game with the supposed lost evidence.
Yeah, well,
they're claiming that different agencies seized evidence and put it in their evidence. Well, how many frickin' agencies were there?
Listen at this, Mel. It's the commissioner's court.
What do you got? City, county, and state.
It's the commissioner's court that is facing all these lawsuits that are trying to hang on. They're saying they'll need those items for evidence.
Oh.
Yeah. In the civil trials. They'll need a wedding ring? Really? Really?
They don't want to fess up. That stuff is gone. They're just hoping that people will give up.
You know what? I would think that's probably true. Probably sold. Probably stolen. Is what you might say. I know Looney's on top of it. The attorney Looney. He's trying to say, hey, even if they need it for evidence, there's ways to give that stuff back to them and have them produce it. Just tell them they can't get rid of it. It's still part of evidence.
Yep.
That can be done. There's ways to handle this stuff, but apparently they want to be jackasses. In Waco, and none of that's surprising, is it?
It's just part of the swamp.
Yeah. It's part of a crooked system that they're able to or let's put it this way, it's part of a system that they're able to manipulate into a crooked system that benefits themselves.
The average American citizen has been asleep at the switch for decades and allowed this to happen.
Well, especially here in Texas, Mel, where you see the sheriff coming down the road and you say, look at him, man, he a good old boy. There's Popeye Fuller or whatever his name is. You know, he's a great guy. Let's put his name on a building. He ain't even dead yet.
Yeah. You know, I was watching a piece on Fox News, and they had some representative on there, some congressman. Can't even remember his name, but what struck me was he was saying he had never seen anything like this in his 30-year career, and I thought, oh my God, that guy has been in there for 30 years?
Yeah.
The founders of this country never, ever intended any politician to be in office for more than 1 or 2 terms.
Exactly.
And they were supposed to be normal citizens that were called to the service of their country. If you were a shop owner, a farmer, plowing your field, or whoever, common folk were supposed to be involved in government. No more than 1 or 2 terms. You serve your time. Maybe you got money for your expenses. Maybe you didn't. It's all part of being a citizen of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that term was up, you went back to doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
There was never supposed to be anything remotely resembling a professional politician. They're useless as tits on a boar hog.
And Mel, let me say something right now. We have a video posted at TexasBikerRadio.org. I'll have to go look for it. It's called The Math Problem. And it explains what's going on with the system, what they did
How they game it.
to manipulate the system, because there's supposed to be, believe this or not, there's supposed to be way more congressmen than there is. You know, they've designed it this way so you can't get at them. Their districts are so huge, so big, that you know, it benefits the incumbents, and it's hard to get rid of them. And let me say this: the only way to get rid of these bastards and get term limits is the Convention of the States. Everybody needs to get behind that. We need to make that happen. Convention of the States, but there we can get term limits, and that needs to happen. Desperately needs to happen. What that would do, it would eliminate the ability for these bastards to collude with each other for decades on end and screw the hell out of us. You know, it's like Mel said, get in there, do your short term, and get the hell out of there and let somebody else do a good job. Do what's right for the damn country. And Mel, those bastards are asking for pay raises. I don't know why they're doing that, Mel. It happens automatically. They get cost of living raises.
Yeah, they raise their pay every year.
Yeah, they have cost of living raises. It's more than we get in Social Security. I'll guarantee you that. And Mel, now they're
they get more.
Yeah,
they get more than a wage. They get an office budget also.
Oh yeah, and all their staff and all those people, 16, 20 people, whatever it is.
That's better than a petty cash drawer.
You know, Mel, and they get guaranteed jobs in the government. They get their college paid for. There's all kinds of shit that goes on there.
Special medical?
Yeah. Yeah. They're not on the same plan we are, baby. No. Get me started on that shit and I'll go on for a day.
Definitely not. The same laws don't apply.
That's
like
right.
You always say, laws for them, laws for us.
But Mel, what I understand, they're asking for about a $4,500 pay raise. Screw them. They don't deserve any pay raise. Matter of fact is, they need to have their salaries reduced.
It needs to be cut. They need to get minimum wage.
That's true. That's a damn good idea. Maybe we'll start a campaign, minimum wage for Congress and the Senate.
Right.
You know, hey, get out here and live on a hamburger flipper's wage. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. They're getting $15 an hour now, some places.
Yep.
And they're going broke. That's that's not working out. So they have to make it up in other areas of the country. Those businesses that are doing that, like Starbucks. Yeah. Because the Starbucks workers here aren't making $15 an hour. I can guarantee it. But, man, Mel, you got any Harley news? That kind of stuff?
Yeah, actually, I've got more than what we need. I've got 4 situations here, and I'm only going to discuss 2 of them this time.
Okay.
We'll save the other 2 for the next broadcast, but I'll highlight what they are. And let me first start off by saying everyone out there that owns a Harley-Davidson, go to the Harley-Davidson website on the internet. There's a spot on that site where you can enter your VIN number of your motorcycle to double check to make sure there are no recalls relative to your bike. Now be careful. I bought a 2016 Street Glide and my hydraulic clutch started malfunctioned on me. I called the dealer. They ran my VIN and said, it's not, your VIN number isn't part of the recall yet, but let's bring it in. Harley-Davidson will take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. They replaced that thing twice because the first time wasn't quite right, and they replaced it again. So be careful. If you come up, recall-free, mm-hmm. I would still enter my VIN number once a month, once a quarter, but I would do it repeatedly.
Yeah.
And I say that because 3 of the 4 issues that I'm going to talk about involve recalls. But the first, the 3 things I'm going to talk about is the millennial marketing problem, and a gal came up with the perfect reason why they're in such a conundrum right now.
Mm-hmm.
The other 3 items are, we want to talk a little bit more about the hydraulic clutch recall, because just because you think your master cylinder was replaced doesn't mean you're in the clear. And then we have what is called blocked warranty. And that's everybody with a 2017 and newer may get their warranty blocked, their VIN number blocked unknowingly. And next time around, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
You're going to have to be damn careful, and it really isn't Harley-Davidson that's the evil one, and this one is the EPA.
There
the
you
results
go.
of what they put Harley through. And then the last item that we'll discuss next time is we're seeing some brake caliper problems out there, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
But to protect yourselves, run that VIN number, make sure, because this brake caliper thing is so new, they don't have the parts in yet. They're just starting to send out letters of recall on this, telling you if that your bike is recalled, they're going to be replacing your hydraulic calipers. But we'll talk about that next week too. It's going to take a month or 2. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was this marketing issue, and everyone has talked about this in the past, saying, they're doing this study and that study. Well, there's a gal named Sarah Liberte, and she spells her last name Liberte. She writes a column in American Iron, and sounds like she's been around for a while. She's an excellent biker, and she talks about in 2016 she was asked to take part in a roundtable discussion led by Bob Kay. The topic was how to market to millennials. Mm-hmm. And it was a powerhouse group that was gathered there. You had OEMs, you had custom builders, you had dealers, distributors. It was quite the roundtable, and everyone was throwing in all these phenomenal ideas about how to market to millennials. And they finally came to Sarah, and they asked her opinion. And she looked them all straight in the eye, and she said, "It's too late."
Yeah.
And actually, she's right if you think about it. She
yes.
said it's too late because none of the millennials, most of the millennials never been on a bicycle.
Right.
The bicycle riders today have declined by 35%
wow.
as to what they used to be. If you think back, almost everyone that rides a motorcycle started out on a bicycle.
Yep.
And then started dreaming about their first dirt bike.
Yep.
That isn't happening anymore. So, Harley, I think, took notice of this. Now, they're doing it pretty much in their area around the Midwest, but we might see more dealers get involved in this. They're sponsoring, well, first of all, they got a course going at the University of Wisconsin. It's a one-credit elective, but it's all about motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And, they get them on bicycles, and there's stuff they read and stuff they learn. So that's one way of introducing to the older population. But what's more important is, and like Sarah said, it's too frickin' late, because all these millennials want to do is sit on mom's couch in the basement and play video games.
I agree, Mel. I agree, because I see it in my own grandkids.
Yeah.
Those that do ride bikes, ride them for about 20 minutes and they're back in the house.
Yep. So you take the younger generation that's coming up, and what Harley's doing is they're sponsoring bicycle programs in schools.
There you go.
Providing bikes and instructors and getting these kids excited about riding a bicycle.
There you go.
When they're young. So, for all of you out there that have young children, get that damn video game away from them. Go out and buy them a bicycle and get them riding a bike. And don't let them near any video games anymore, because that's not a babysitter.
That's exactly right.
Most parents treat them as.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
You are destroying the probability of that individual ever being a biker by not at least getting him introduced to a bicycle.
Exactly, Mel.
Drive by all these schools. Look at the bike rack. You don't see any bikes in the racks anymore. Or damn few. So, I think that was an excellent catch by Sarah. She definitely caught my attention, and I wholeheartely subscribe to what in the hell she's talking about.
Yeah. Hey, Mel, it's like here in Arlington, whenever they were doing the bicycle path thing, they wanted like 200 miles of bicycle paths or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We knocked them down to 16, and they were trying. In their push for this, they told us there were 28,000 riders a day here in Arlington, and we said to them, well, where in the hell are they all at? Because there's nobody out here riding a bicycle in 100-degree heat. There's nobody riding a bicycle out here in 90-degree heat. And especially not the kids nowadays. So we were going, you know what we found out, that where they got that number from? That's how many people are enrolled at the University of Texas at Arlington. That's where they got that number at.
Yeah. That's like building a criminal gang report.
That's right, Mel. And they paid that company
ridiculous information.
They paid that company $200,000 to make that report. $200,000 out of North Carolina.
Yep.
It drove me wild.
Numbers.
It drove me wild. anyway, we got the 200 miles of bike lanes knocked down to about 16 miles.
Yep.
But, wow. All that's good information. Good information.
Okay.
So true. Get
Let's
everybody
go to
off their asses.
hydraulic clutch recall.
Uh-huh.
Now, everyone out there that has a 2013 and newer
Mm-hmm.
has the potential for a hydraulic clutch failure. Some of us, or most of us, have had the clutch master cylinder replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And our clutches seem to be operating very well. Well, here's the problem. You can experience a failure within 2 years after that master cylinder was changed.
Mm.
And here's why. The problem being they use DOT4 fluid in those master cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
DOT4 absorbs moisture.
Uh-oh.
Within a 2-year period, you may pick up enough contamination in that DOT4 fluid in your master cylinder and lines that your clutch is going to fail. You're going to squeeze the lever, and there's going to be so much moisture in that fluid that it's not going to work properly.
Wow.
And you're going to have a failure. What they're suggesting you do is either yourself or take it to the shop, but once every 2 years, have them flush that fluid out of there and put new fluid in.
There you go.
Now, I'm just now coming up, or I'm probably a little bit past my 2-year period, so I may have to fess up and either get the right tool to do it myself, because there's a tool you can buy where you take off the inspection cover and you can hook it up to that hydraulic line and you can start flushing that fluid, or I might just check with the Harley dealer and see how much they want to rate me to change the fluid. But
right.
I would suggest everybody out there take this a little bit seriously, because you can't think you're in the clear just because that cylinder got changed. It's got DOT4 in it, collects moisture, and there can be a big problem after 2 years.
Yeah.
They used to talk about that with the ABS brake system, because they use DOT4 in that. So, same issue.
Yeah.
So those were the two I wanted to bring up this time, and next time we will bring up the other two on the blocked warranty and the brake caliper.
Okay, Mel, we're running up on our time, our allotted time, because it'll take me forever to get this edited and uploaded. but we'll make it through it. Everybody, join us for our next show, number 350. Wow, 350 shows we've done. Man, time flies when you're having fun, and you're fighting, and you're fighting for what's right. And Mel, that's what we do. We are defenders of the Constitution. We're defenders of people who've had their constitutional rights violated. And we're not afraid to go where it is they say they don't want us. With that, everybody, have a great evening and ride safe. Ride safe.
Be safe out there.
Good night, Mel. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.